Hello YouTube, good evening to you all. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you had a lovely Thanksgiving. I know I had. I can't complain, and I hope everybody's family's doing well. You know, these times can be very daunting for some and very happy for others when you finally get a chance to sit down and spend some time with family, spend some time with friends, spend some time with kids or loved ones or whatever you might fancy in your life. As for me, I spent time with my kids, ate some good food, and you know, now it's back to the grind and looking at my pocketbook for Christmas for these crazy kids of mine. You know, I got Christmas coming up, so I'm not too happy about that, being that I have to spend. But hey, you know, one more holiday and it's over. Those of you who have kids, you understand around this time it's not necessarily about you. It is definitely about them, and just showing them that you actually care about them even when they don't believe you do. So with that being said, I am bringing out my 22 GR86 today to talk to you guys about just the recent trends that have been going on lately about this car. And there's no other car that's dodging this, but it seems to be the GR86's turn to get a wave of hate, which is crazy to me because I just don't understand. It's not necessarily logical why this car gets any hate, just due to the fact that, in my opinion, it's the perfect sports car. It hits all the boxes. It provides everything that you would ever need in a sports car, and we're going to talk about that today. And before we do, as you can see, my car has a somewhat of a different stance today. I am on some brand new all-season Lexi 215 60 R17s. As you can see, we're a little bit more beefier, so maybe absorbing the bumps a little bit better, but it's definitely something I had to get used to because I'm used to running a little bit of a wider tire. I usually run 225s, but I don't plan on keeping these long term. This is just an all-season placeholder until next spring when I go for some grippier tires for the track. And they do the job, being that I do have a daily driver, as some of you know, so I don't have to drive this every day, but they get the job done. So to be honest, they look good on you know, as far as, you know, the arch and the wheel well, and how wide they are, or how thick they are rather. So they look good to me. Like I said, this is just a placeholder for what is to come in the spring once the track season gets completely underway. And I do have the front lip coming in once it kind of gets warmer. I do have it already. I'm just going to install it once I get a good day to, you know, to get up under the car and put the front lip on. So I'll be putting that on. It's nothing extravagant. It's going to be a gloss black front lip just to kind of round out the outside, I guess. As you can see, I do have some carbon fiber trims here right where the vents are, so you know, that brings out the look a little bit more, and it kind of goes with the wing, in my opinion. And again, I still like the stance. I really do like the stance of this car. I don't really see any more adjustments that I need to make on the outside. I mean, I am going to get wheels, but that's going to come with my summer tires or my track tires. So I am going to get those, but other than that, I don't really see any changes that I necessarily need to make. Side skirts, yeah, again, like I said, my track upgrades are gonna be there in the spring, but for the winter, I think I'm pretty much set. You know, I still got the swan neck wing. I do need to tighten it. It is a little loose right here, so I don't know how that happened, but hey, you know, I've taken this car pretty much everywhere at this point. But back to the subject at hand. Why does this car gets so much hate right now. So I've been hearing everything from the car doesn't have enough power, to the infotainment is dated, to I wish it had leather interior on the dashboard or some weird crap like that, or why doesn't it have rev matching? So I'm going to address some of these things here so I can better enlighten you folks who are in the market for this car, because some of that stuff is something that people will actually take to the bank, literally, and just say, well, you know, I guess I'm gonna pass on the GR86. And to me, that would be the dumbest mistake you could ever make, by one, just taking someone's opinion at face value without doing your research, and two, if you already are, you know, somewhat interested in the car, not necessarily going out there and test driving it makes no sense. You could test drive it for free. It's not like you got to pay to test drive a vehicle. So why not go see for yourself? But I think that's part of the this new generation, really. And again, I hate to kind of put a blanket statement on that, but I've seen a lot of people who would just take opinions and just run with them, rather than just doing the research. For example, you know, most of these people that hate the car will say, well, the throttle response is a little shaky when the car is cold. Well, no shit. Okay, that goes away once the car is warmed up, right? And it does what you need it to do once you kind of get going. Or they'll say, well, you know, if I would buy the car if it had more power or turbo, which I brought up before, right? So I'm like, okay, if it had more power, you know, there's always a yang to the yin, right? So if Subaru and Toyota decided we're gonna put more power in this car, I'm actually gonna swing around this way. If they decided, hey, we're gonna put more power in this car, what does that mean exactly? 230 horsepower, I think is great. Or 220 horsepower, I think is fine, and it's good for the weight of this car. But again, you're not doing your research. I'm speaking to the person who takes blanket statements to the bank, rather than doing your own research and not having a real life feel of how this car reacts in real time. So, oh, excuse me. So they'll say, well, you know, forced induction, turbo, it needs a turbo, it needs more power. What are you comparing this I need more power to? Like, what is your reasoning for that? So are you saying it needs to be a Mustang? Are you saying it needs to be a Cayman? Or what else? An Elantra N? It's not, that's not what it's built for, you know? Like, to be honest, you gotta understand the demographic that this car is trying to reach. It doesn't need any more power than what it already has. Now, like I said, will I eventually put a turbo or a supercharger in this car? Probably. Does it need it? Absolutely not. And the reason why I say that is because this car, most of you, I swear, most of you will never reach the full potential of this car while you're owning it. One, you're probably a little bit nervous and you won't drive it at speed anyway, and you'll just be driving it like I am and trying to go for, I've seen this argument too, economy numbers. Where is it at? Where is it at? Like that, 25 miles a gallon, whatever, 35 mpgs. You know, you're not going to get that if you're driving this car spiritedly. You're just not. But people will try to do that, and most of you will drive like this in traffic. This is like regular neighborhood speed limit, 30 to 40 miles an hour traffic, right? You're not going to drive your car and push it to its limit. So why would you care about more horsepower when you're not even going to use it? I wish someone would take a poll on how many people actually push their cars to the limit of what the horsepower rated is. I've seen, I would say, maybe less than 5% of people actually push their cars, obviously legally on track. But you're not gonna push that whole 200 horsepower. If you're just trying to win what they call a red light Grand Prix, then yeah, you might lose, but that doesn't mean that this car is slow. What you call slow isn't necessarily accurate on what a slow car is. This car, based off of what the power that it offers and the weight that it has, is a pretty quick car. It's not fast, but it's not slow, if that makes sense. Now, this car offers a lot more than just raw speed, because it doesn't really offer raw speed, but it gives you enough speed to where you can do a few things. This car can be a time attack car. This car can be an autocross car. You know, autocross being low speed, time attack being more high speed. Granted, other than the minor setbacks of the oil starvation thing, which is currently getting fixed. If those of you who don't know, our friends up in Canada is fixing that, making a larger oil pan, which is, it turns out that's what's going to be the fix for the car. So don't worry about that for my track 86s out there. You guys will be good, and it's going to fit under the OEM headers, so I think we'll be fine. But like I said, let's go back to the power thing. You're not going to use the power, so I would just rather you be honest with yourself and not use that as a knock on the car when you don't even know how to drive. Half of you don't even know, actually over half, let me change that. Actually, over half of you don't even know how to drive a manual transmission. What makes you think you're even pushing this car? So, you know, obviously this is a little bit of a rant, but it's just, I'm trying to prove a point here that you guys aren't using 200 and something horsepower. There's a reason why you always hear people who drive cars like the Miata. I would just use that. That's a prime example. No one ever complains about the power of that car. And those who do, like, you don't understand what the Miata provides. You really don't, because it's actually pretty damn fast if you know how to drive it. So you know, you really don't understand what you're talking about if you're saying that car in particular needs power. And I think this car falls in that category, which again, my overall point is why it doesn't have any weaknesses. The other thing is, I wish it had like leather or you know, more premium touches in here. For what? It's a $28,000 car used, a $30,000 car brand new. This car needs to exist at this price point for people like us, most of us, who are $40,000 a year and below income users, to have something fun to use. So you got to understand, for those of you who complain about what it's lacking, that's not what it's built for. This is the most purpose-built vehicle in its price point. Every vent on here is functional. You can't even say that stuff about a $50,000 car. And I'm looking at you, Supra. There are vents on there that aren't even usable. Just ask Joe Rating. So, you know, everything on here is functional. It's very functional, and the car isn't even ugly. So, you know, you got the function, you got the form, you got the power, enough power, you got the handling, which is superb. All this for $30,000, and the shifting is good. It's great, actually. I wish that the regular WRX had this shifter, because to me, I don't even feel like I need a short shifter in here at all. It's perfect. Downshifting, everything. It responds greatly. It handles corners greatly. This car, you ask anybody, is one of the funnest cars, if not the funnest car you could drive. So therefore, I hit every major point on why you would get a car like this, which is why I would say that it has no weaknesses. This car that gives you everything you need plus more, because you can always add suspension, you can always get better, grippier tires, you could always do something, and it teaches you how to drive. It teaches you the characteristics of a sports car without having too much power. There's a reason for cars like this to exist, and part of the reason is learning what a sports car is supposed to do. You change the tires on here, it changed the whole driving dynamics. You change the wheel size on here, it changes everything. It feels different. Like I told you at the beginning of the video, I had 225s on here as far as my tires. Now I'm at 215s. It's a difference. It feels different. Now I feel like I can break the back end out a little bit easier. Like I can feel that in this steering wheel right here. It tells me all the information that I need. And most cars, to be honest with you, especially at this price point, do not offer that. They don't. Show me the cars that give you the same information based on tire changing. Because all the other cars, the suspension is so soft and numb, and your steering is so numb, you can't get that information. But then again, you got to understand why that specific car is built. I'm not just saying one is better than the other. I'm just telling you that this car is built for a specific reason. And the reason is fun, tossable, lightweight, manual transmission. Oh, they do have autos. Shout out to the people who drive automatics, but still. And just a raw feeling of a sports car. And something that you can actually learn from and grow with, because you got everybody from a beginner and an expert driving this car. I've seen all phases of it, and that's why I would say this car honestly has no weaknesses. And with that being said, fellas, that's all I got. Again, like, comment, and subscribe if you like the video. And again, for those of you who are on the fence, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Don't pass on the car because somebody said it needs more power. They don't understand. It doesn't need any more power. This car responds perfectly. It does everything that you need it to do plus more. And you can grow with the car. So I would say you get more of a value out of a car like this than you would out of any expensive vehicle. So that's it. That's all I got. And just stay tuned on my channel if you're new here. I can't tell you that I upload every week, but within the next couple of weeks, especially during holiday seasons, you'll see maybe one more video before the new year. And then after that, I'll get right back on a tighter schedule with weekly uploads and things of that nature. But again, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace out.